Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is the episode number 3 in this series. In this episode, we will be creating a sign-in form. In the first episode, we created a user registration form. So once this information is submitted, this information is saved in a user account. So that was our first episode. In the second episode, we created a user accounts list where we display all the user accounts created in the first video. So the information stored here is displayed on this form. So in today's video, we will be working on the sign-in form. So when we type user ID and password and click on sign in, this will take this information and match with the information stored in the storage table. And then it will display the result here, whether it was successful login or it was a failed login. So once this information is submitted, we have an Azure Foundry agent, which we created here. This Azure Foundry agent is linked with an MCP server, which has a list of tools. So you can access this Foundry agent from this VS Code extension. So let's work on the sign-in form today. This episode 1 was submitting information from the web application to the Azure Foundry agent. And the episode 2 was taking information from the Azure Foundry agent and displaying on the web application. We will try to mix up both. So we will submit this information, which goes back to Azure Foundry, and Azure Foundry will do some calculation and returns us a response back when we can display it here. Let's start by creating a new branch. Let's create a new form for sign in. Okay, so the blank sign in form is there. Now let's add some options. So this should be enough for us. So let's copy that. We can have email and the password. We don't need this. And probably we don't need these two either. So we have a user account model. So let me create a new model for user sign in. And we just need an email address and the password. So this is our model. And we need to bind it. So that would be the bind property. Okay, let's test the on post. Okay, so that one would be user sign in model dot email. This one is password. Okay, that's it. Let's run it now. Yep, we can get user ID and password. So the form has been created. Now let's create a tool. So we have a user management tools class we created. And in the first episode, we created a new user account. And the second episode, we created get all users. And now let's create one for sign in. So that everybody gets a single user and it will take email address and password. And let's go to user management service. So that would be get a user. So that takes user ID and password. And we have to specify a query here. So that would be a filter. So entity dot email address will match to the email address. And entity dot password should match the password. If it returns something, then we simply return that user. We need only one user, and the return type is not a list, just a single user. And if nothing found, then just simply return null. Okay, so the tool is now ready. So we just have to call it here. So that's it, that gets a single user or performs user sign in. So this method will be called if we just need a user, or if we want to perform a sign in, then this method will be called. Okay, let's test this part. Okay, so we can see get user. It takes two inputs. Okay, so the email address is this and the password is this. Remember when we created this user accounts, we are not storing password as a plain text. So we are converting it to base64 and then storing it the password. So we need to get this part. And I'm creating a new variable here called encoded password. And that encoded password will be used here. So it found one user and then just return it. And we can see the user here. And if I type the password which does not exist, it return null. Okay. So the tool is working fine. Now let's deploy it. Okay, the MCP server has been deployed fine. Let me disconnect and connect to the Azure environment. Click on connect. And I'm typing with the user password underscore one. It should return empty. And if I type a correct password, then it should return correct user. So the tool has been deployed as well and it's working fine on. Now let's update the agent. So if I look at the agent, I have only two tools. In, so if I need to create the third one, I have to delete it. Last time when I tried to edit this file, but it doesn't save. For example, if I add a new one and press save, looks like it has been saved. But if I close this one, close this, come back, and it doesn't exist there. Maybe this extension does not support editing the MCP server. So easy option for us is just delete, add a new one. So we have create new user account, get all users, and then get used. Okay, so in instructions, we have create new user tool. Second one is get all users. And the third one we just created. Needs email address and password. Please ask. Please ask if not provided. Okay, let's simply save it and test it. Okay, it made a call to the MCP server. It sent this email address and this password, and a user was returned. So looks like tool is working fine. So if tool is all good, then next thing we need to do is we will go to that web project where we created this sign-in form. And let me copy few lines of code from get all users. Let's copy these two lines. We need to register user management. Okay, so we have created two different methods. So the first one was create new user account and get all users. Now we need one more. So that would be get user. Okay, give me single user. Based on the email address and password. give me a single user based on the email, and then we can specify an email address. And make sure you return me a raw JSON. Please don't add any extra text or formatting. I have to parse the return JSON. Well, that looks fine to me. And we just simply call it. Okay, just test this part and let's see. Let's have a look at the prompt. Please give me a single user based on the email. Then we have an email and password. We have a password and make sure they returned me a raw JSON. So let's run it. Let me put a breakpoint here. Okay, we got this JSON back, which is in perfect format. We can easily parse it. So that would be returned, and then we have to parse it. Okay, so if user is not null, then we have to display a message that user is signed in. So let's make two string properties. Success message and error message. If user is equals to null, invalid email or password. Otherwise, success message is welcome and whatever the user is. So this is not a list. Okay, now we need to write some HTML. If success message is not null or empty, that means user has been signed in. Don't need this button. I'll maybe leave it. Okay, let's test it now. Okay, so we go JSON back and we now parsing it. So we have the user and it displays this message. Okay. And if I type a wrong password, okay, so if password is wrong, then it returns a string, but we have to parse it as a JSON. So we might need to edit the prompt. Okay, so if no user found, please return me an empty string. And this won't be null, this would be an empty string. Well, let's run it first and see what happens. Okay, so this came back with this empty string. So if it is empty string, then probably we don't need to parse it. So we can move this one step above, and we can check if this is, so this is returning as empty string. So that would be backslash double quote, then again backslash double quote, and then double quotes. Okay, so if it is empty string, then it just simply comes here and for return here and just display the message. Okay, so if I type correct password, so if I type a correct password, then it gives me the user back and we can simply return it. But if I type a wrong password, then it just simply says that there is an error. Okay, so this is now working. So we have completed the part 3 of the series. So in first one, we created a new user accounts, and in the second one, we displayed a list of all users, and in the third one, we performed the sign in. So that's it for today. I hope you liked the video, enjoyed it, learned something new. And I just need one favor. Please subscribe, share, and if you have any question, just put in the comment. I will try to answer all the comments. Thank you and see you again. Bye bye.